Yeah, I mean, so two thoughts that I wanted to bring up. One is a lot of us, it seems, either need to hear that this is really what we've been promised and that this is possible for us. But we also have to unlearn what limits us, right? I know you talk about
Yeah.
that in the book, and I absolutely agree with that. The other thing, too, that I had written down was I think a lot of us struggle, even as believers, that we think, if God can and will, like we ask if God can and will heal us, like we question it, like
Mhm.
will He? And even if we believe He can, we wonder, will He? But the other, I think, challenges is that too many of us believe we may not be deserving or worthy of it, and that will also hold us back from what I understand.
It's the people that have studied this, again, not me, the people that have studied this and have lived their lives, they say that it is unworthiness is right up there with unbelief. Right up
Yeah,
there with unbelief. We have to realize that we're made worthy by the blood of the Lamb of God. He himself is our peace. He himself is our righteousness. We're taking his righteousness. We're no longer the old self. We have to put that off. We got to quit thinking of ourselves that way. It's not a prideful thing to assume. We're supposed to clothe ourselves with Christ. If you're clothed with Christ, you're not unworthy, right? And you are a new creation, so there's that realization, right? And especially if you've grown up and you've had people saying negative things to you and you've internalized those things, that's one of the things about being transformed by the renewing of the mind. Depending how rough of your situation, that might take a while, but you should
right.
be encouraged to know that God has given us this way to do it. And if you stick with it, being transformed is not, that's a consistent, persistent thing. That's not a quick thing. But if you stick with it, it will happen. It starts to unfold and your belief can and will change.
Absolutely. But I just think like you just sort of explained that more, but that's my point, I guess, is like people have to start looking at, like we talked about at the beginning, you might believe it that he can, but are you believing that he can for you completely? Right. You know,
It's
yeah.
it's being it's deciding that. And I'll give you one more thing that F. Bosworth did. And again, the reason I use him is because he helped so many people go from that to that. He helped
Yeah.
so many people go from maybe it's not to, and then their healing came. So he's a perfect example because that one lie when it was overcome, then they experienced healing. And so when people would be stuck there, I don't know if it's God's will to heal me. He would then ask them, do you think it's God's will to keep his promise? And for some people, that was enough. They were able to go back and see the scriptures in the light of that. No, he wants me to believe his promise. And now it's different.